Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. I post all sorts of fitness, lifestyle, and law school content. So if that is the type of thing you want to see in your subscription box, you should hit that subscribe button down below. Today's video is going to be a little bit chatty. We're going to go back in time a long time ago and talk about what I wish I knew that I know now, having finished a semester of law school, having been in law school, when I was applying and when I was first starting this whole process, because there are a couple of things that I definitely have picked up that I wish I had known back then. Some of these things went really well for me, so it worked out in the end, but I didn't know them at the time and wish I had. And so if you are also about to apply for law school, I want you to know these things in advance before I did, because I think they're definitely very important. The first thing is a big one. It is that financial stuff in law school applications is so different from undergrad. At least in my experience. I don't know what people's other experiences with undergraduate scholarships were, but mine were that they were very few and far between. I went to a school that I got my scholarship there through it being an in-state school, and the state of Georgia has a program that pays tuition if you get a certain GPA in high school, and so that was my scholarship. But other than that, like, didn't really have, you know, this like flooding in of like undergrad, like huge offers to pay for my schooling at some fancy private school. So that was my undergraduate experience, and law school is a very different ball game. A lot of them have more money, and so scholarships are a lot easier to come by. They are not something that you have to, like, you know, go after separately, where a lot of like undergrad scholarships you have to apply separately from the school to apply for all these like fun, cool scholarships. A lot of law school scholarships, they just assign with your application, either not long after you apply or a few months later, just depending on the timeline. I've done a whole video on timelines as far as getting offers and whatnot, and so if you want more detail on that, you can go there. But it's a very different ball game, and it is all over the place. There's no like predictor for how much money you're going to get from a school. Ranking is not in any way a predictor. There are some schools that were significantly lower ranked on my list that gave me very little or no money, compared to schools that were way high up that gave me a lot. So ranking is not a predictor, but definitely think about financials when you're applying to law school. There are some schools that have, you know, reputations for being more generous with scholarship money. So if that is something that you are really considering and or really care about, is the financial aspect of law school, definitely look into that. Look into the schools that have a reputation for being more generous and apply for those schools, because they really do pull through. If you're looking to go into public interest, or you're looking, you know that your career path probably isn't going to throw you straight into a big law office where you're going to be making six figures right off the bat, and you want to, you know, not be completely paralyzed by student loans, definitely look into that. Look into the schools that give good scholarships, and don't necessarily assume that you have to apply below your level in order to get good scholarship offers. You can get them right on your level. It just all depends on the school, and it all depends on what they see in your application. So apply to a bunch. The second thing is that I did not know the sheer effect that the community aspect of law school has on your law school experience, but it is a huge factor that I did not consider when I'm applying to schools. It worked out very well for me in the end, but is something that I wish I had thought about before applying to schools, because some schools are super competitive. That's like, you know, very cutthroat. Everyone's like trying to beat each other out, sabotaging whatever to do the best they can, and some schools are a very collegial style environment. You're still competing against each other. That's still how law school curves work, but much more of an environment that, with the student body and with the professors and everything, kind of fosters this really like friendly, open environment where older students are super willing to share files, and you can get help from other students in your class, and it's a very, very different setting than this super, super competitive, like I must beat everyone type of mindset. It's a much more of a community type thing. And for me, I think that made my experience. My school is one of those schools that people are so friendly and so willing to help and are so excited to like chat and like help with anything they can. Even like within my own classes, people are always super helpful, like sending notes, sharing outlines, all of that stuff. There's this airplane just like circling. And I think that's such a big thing. I think that, you know, being in an environment that you best thrive in is so, so important. And I really, really enjoyed having that community and having people that are willing to help and are willing to answer questions and work with you, rather than everyone out for themselves. I mean, I'm naturally a fairly independent person. Like, I'm not a study group type person, but being able to, you know, have past outlines to look at and being able to chat with members of your class and like have these like moments of community, so good and so valuable. And that's something that I really, really enjoy, and something that I didn't think about. Like, I didn't look into schools' reputations for these sorts of things going into law school, and I think that probably would have impacted my decision. I would have made the same one, but it would have been something that I would have considered, and I think it's definitely something worth considering when you're looking for schools to apply to. And on that note, another really great thing that I did not do, mostly because of my weird structure of applying and that I deferred for a year, but even then I still should have done this, join GroupMe's. Like, join Facebook pages for the schools you get accepted to, join group chats, get to know the people, because once again, at a certain point, the law school experience is very similar, like everywhere you go. And what's going to make or break your law school experience is the people that you're with. And I didn't join a single GroupMe or a single Facebook group for any of the schools that I got into, and I really, really wish I had, because I think that getting to know people, getting to see what, you know, the rest of the community is like, is such a big factor in how your law school experience is going to turn out. And my final piece of advice: don't pick a school just because of what you see on paper. I think kind of all of these things before I've said this one kind of play into this, but there is so much more to a law school than what you'll see as far as their rankings, as far as their median LSAT scores, as far as, you know, what they post on their website. There's so much more, and so much of your experience at the school will be shaped by things that aren't those numbers, and that's the stuff that matters. Try to get to know as many people as you can throughout the application process. Try to, you know, find out what the career center at your school is doing, because those people are going to become your best friends, and you want people who are, you know, responsive and really, really care about helping you get positions, especially if you're trying to get super competitive things like clerkships or really prestigious big law firm internships. It's really important to have, you know, that sort of backup team talking to admissions people, because once again, it's a great way to get to know the culture. If you are able to go to the school, obviously right now it's not a great time to visit schools. I was fortunate enough to be able to visit my school back in October of last year, long before anything hit, and definitely think that being able to be in the environment helped me kind of cement that this place felt right. And I get a lot of questions or comments that are sometimes snarky on my original video about my law school applications, about why I would go to a school that wasn't as highly ranked as some of the others that I got into, why I would pick this school over that one. And my answer is very simply everything that I've said in this video, that the community that I have found, the people that I interacted with, the experience of the law school was a much more central factor in the end after I made my decision, after I had applied to all of these schools, when I got at that very end point, that's what made the difference, and that's what kind of guided my decision, and then proceeded to guide what has thus far been a pretty positive experience. So I can't recommend that highly enough. Just follow what feels right. Don't follow what the numbers say you should do. Unless, of course, you're a person that, like, that's your big thing. Like, that's the thing you care about the most, and you really could care less about, you know, the community. If you're that type of person, then go based on numbers and numbers alone. That's fine. Everyone's different, and everyone makes their own decisions in different ways. This is just how I made mine, and how I think I would have thought about it differently from the very beginning if I had known then what I know now. Alright, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, once again, hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time that I post. I put new videos out 2 times a week, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays, but sometimes life gets a little crazy and they're a little delayed. It happens. I'll see you guys soon for another new video. Bye.